You're rocking with the angry NFC East, where we talk about the four teams that make up the NFC Beast. Whether you represent the Eagles, Giants, Commanders, or Cowboys, it's that raw and uncut happening now, boys. So let's get it.
What's going on, NFC East fans? How my Eagles fans out there doing? What's good with my Giants fans? How them Commanders out there doing? Let's not forget about my Dallas Cowboys. How y'all doing? Y'all know who it is, and if you don't, it's your man, the Angry Cowboys fan, and this video symbolizes the start of the Angry NFC East YouTube channel. What's the Angry NFC East YouTube channel, you ask? Well, if you're familiar with who I am, I'm the Angry Cowboys fan. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, have been a Dallas Cowboys fan since the age of 9. Being a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, you automatically pay attention to the other teams in your division. So, your man is going to do everything he can to keep the fans of the NFC East informed on your respected teams. I remember back in the 2000s, whenever an NFC East team would make it to a Super Bowl, I'd root for said team. Whether it was the Philadelphia Eagles or the New York Giants, let's keep it a buck, the Commanders or the Cowboys haven't made it that far in that time span. But I would root for said team who represented the NFC East so that they would bring a Super Bowl championship back to the division. As of the past few years, the rivalry between the teams in the NFC East has overshadowed the love for great football. It really seems as if fans from different NFC East team fan bases can't get along because the rivalry throughout NFL history tells us that we can't. This channel is going to be a safe place for some intelligent building when it comes to this division, and a place where fans from the Philadelphia Eagles, the Washington Commanders, the Dallas Cowboys, or New York Giants can have adult conversations, updates, news, and in some cases, debates about our favorite teams. Here on the Angry NFC East YouTube channel, I will be taking an unbiased approach to covering each team in the division. Even though I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'm a fan of great football and great football conversation. And when the NFC East is the NFC Beast, that's when football's at its best. If you want Cowboys-specific videos, you can always subscribe to the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel. I'll put the link to it in the description. So if that's what you're into, hit that subscribe button and share this channel with other NFC East fans who love great football conversation. So let's go ahead and get it started, NFC East fans. But as I was ironing out the specifics of this new channel, I had the Rich Eisen show playing in the background. During the show, Rich Eisen had the top 5 divisions in football in the NFC East ranked at number 3. So we're going to take a listen to what Rich Eisen had to say so we can come back and unpack this raw and uncut. Play the clip.
The so-called money division of the National Football League that has the 2 teams that played for the NFC Championship last year. And if the Dallas Cowboys can just get back to form, the NFC East could even be tougher than 3 overall. Giants, let's see what they can do. But the NFC East has got Jaden Daniels and the Commanders as runners-up to the defending Super Bowl champs. Look out. And your Cowboys should be better, TJ.
Well, we were 7-10.
Well, I mean, they're developing. They're developing.
That's all you can do.
Who's dragging down their division more, the Giants or the Browns?
I say the Browns. I'll say that. But the Giants are 1A in that department, potentially.
Yeah.
All right, NFC Beast. Rich Eisen had the NFC East ranked at number 3 when it comes to the top 5 toughest divisions in the NFL. Man, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. The NFC East has the 2 teams that were represented in the NFC Championship. Then you got the 7-10 Dallas Cowboys and the lowly 3-14 New York Giants. But to have 2 teams that made it to the NFC Championship, people may need to put a little bit more respect on the NFC East. But y'all ready for this raw and uncut? Y'all ready? Let's get it. The 2025 NFC East is going to be a sight to see this year. The division that housed the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, the division that houses the red-hot Washington Commanders team, the division that has the Dallas Cowboys team that's looking to regain their footing within the division, And then you have the New York Giants with Russell Wilson, Malik Neighbors, and Abdul Carter on the defensive side of the ball. This division is going to be super competitive this upcoming season. While each team lost players in free agency, it's the additions that these teams made that's going to make them a force to be reckoned with within the 2025 season. Let's start with the Philadelphia Eagles. Continuing the aggression that they showed in free agency last year when they attained Saquon Barkley, the Philadelphia Eagles added another quality running back to their backfield in A.J. Dillon this offseason. After losing Kenneth Gainwell to the Pittsburgh Steelers in free agency, the Eagles looked to upgrade that running back 2 position, and I feel that they did with the addition of A.J. Dillon. Now, defenses around the league not only have to worry about Saquon Barkley, but they also have to worry about a great quality change of pace back. The Philadelphia Eagles were able to hang on to a number of their players from their Super Bowl team last year while adding more weaponry to the arsenal through free agency in the draft. And if we all know Howie Roseman, he's not done crafting his team for another Super Bowl run. That's one thing about the Philadelphia Eagles. No matter if they think that their team's good, they're looking for ways to improve said team. When they look to acquire talent, they look at also improving that position. More often than not, they don't trade for a lesser player. They make sure that that person that they're bringing in is an upgrade over the player that they're replacing. They secured their right tackle, Lane Johnson, for another year worth $25 million. They cut bait with Darius Slade and James Bradbury. They declined Jahad Dotson's 5th-year option while also adding more dogs to the fold in Jahad Campbell and Andrew Makuba in the draft. Even though they had a Super Bowl MVP quarterback in Jalen Hurts, they went ahead and drafted another quarterback in Kyle McCord with the 6th-round pick. The Philadelphia Eagles continue to make moves for the here and now while also taking account for their future. It really shows teams' GMs how to get it done and get it done the right way. But let's talk about the Washington Commanders. They're continuing to impress on and off the field. Ever since they departed with Dan Snyder, the organization sees new ownership as well as a new coaching staff. The Washington Commanders organization gave the teams blueprints on how to successfully rebuild a franchise from the ground up. The new ownership, a partnership between a number of different individuals like Josh Harris acting as the managing partner, Mitch Rales as a limited partner, Magic Johnson as a limited partner, and so on. There's a lot of limited partners over in Washington, but they went into this whole head coach and hiring situation knowing that they wanted to stick to what they knew, and that was the books. Anything that had to do with football, they left to their new head coach and Dan Quinn and his coaching staff, and he was able to get it done. They got in there and they went to work. They grabbed players like Dante Fowler Jr., Dorrance Armstrong, Tyler Biadasz, and Zach Ertz. Then they drafted their future franchise quarterback in Jaden Daniels, something that the Commanders had been waiting on for decades. But this year, they added quality players in free agency in the draft as well. A noticeable addition is wide receiver Michael Gallup. You know, players have a tendency on leaving the Dallas Cowboys and going to another team and succeeding. Not only did they sign Michael Gallup to a 1-year contract, but they were also able to attain Deebo Samuel, former wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers. He also agreed to a 1-year contract. With a wide receiver room that consists of Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Michael Gallup, Noah Brown, and a sleeper in Luke McCaffrey, the Commanders team is going to have the tools to compete with any top defense in this league this year. And let's not sleep on the New York Giants, y'all. Yes, they're last in the division, but you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback going to a team that has a quarterback whisperer in their head coach in Brian Daboll. Not only that, but I believe that the Giants scored pretty big in this past draft by drafting Jackson Dart with their first pick of the draft. If Dart can translate to the league and continue to show that he's a great quality quarterback, then I feel the Giants may have found their franchise quarterback heading into the future. But I truly liked what I saw from Jackson Dart coming out of Ole Miss. You know, I was scouting them whenever we were doing our mock drafts and everything, and what I saw in the highlights, Jackson Dart is pretty good. But in my mock drafts, I would draft Jackson Dart because I feel that he has what it takes to be that dual threat quarterback, that quality type of quarterback in the NFL. If you pair him up with Malik Neighbors and Darius Slayton, you could have a nice passing attack for that New York Giants offense. Also, with the addition of Cam Skattebo, The Giants look to have helped an already hurting backfield, and you know they already got a hurting offense. But it's going to take a couple years to rebuild for the New York Giants. And after you got rid of Daniel Jones, your club is in a rebuild, I hate to tell you. But the side of the ball that looks impressive to me is the defensive side of the ball for the Giants. I mean, you already have a monster on the defensive line in Dexter Lawrence. You go to the draft and you draft Abdul Carter. You add Abdul Carter to the mix. You know, Carter is projected to be one of those Micah Parsons type of players. But with players like Brian Burns, who got 8.5 sacks on 2024, and Kayvon Thibodeau, this pass rush could start to look like a little something in New York. But let's not get it twisted, Giants fans. There's still a lot more work that needs to be done in order to be competitive in the division, let alone the league. And last but not least, let's talk about my Dallas Cowboys. The 2024 season should have been a wake-up call for the Dallas Cowboys organization, coaching staff, players, and fans. The playoffs aren't guaranteed just because you got that star on the side of your helmet. You actually got to go out there and work for it. And honestly, this is what I feel we're seeing from the front office and the coaching staff so far this year. We're seeing splash, cost-effective trades from Jerry and Stephen Jones. You saw us go into the draft and select the ones that we needed and not the sexy picks. You saw positions receiving an upgrade on the depth chart, and I feel you started to see the transition from the Jerry Jones Dallas Cowboys to the Stephen Jones Dallas Cowboys. The move of the offseason for the Dallas Cowboys was attaining George Pickens. Not only was it a cost-effective move for Jerry and Stephen Jones, it also opened up the playbook for the entire offense. Each team in this league who's successful, they got a great wide receiver duo. This addition levels the playing field for the Dallas Cowboys. For some Cowboys fans, I made a video giving my thoughts about the Pickens trade on the Angry Cowboys Fan YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check it out over there. I will put the link to it in the description. But overall, I feel that the NFC East is going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. You may see 3 teams make it to the playoffs out of the NFC East, but I feel very comfortable in saying that the NFC East is one of the toughest, if not the toughest, in the NFC conference. And I say that it was number 2 in the overall landscape of the NFL. Everyone knows that when each team has its starters and they're healthy and each team is good, each game coming out of the NFC East is a knockdown, drag-out, slobber knocker, in the words of JR. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan. How do you feel about your team's chances heading into training camp? What do you feel the pecking order of the NFC East is, from best to worst? Y'all know how we do it. We always talk about it in the comment section. If you're digging this content and want to help be a part of a community that disagrees but still's able to have a beer afterwards, drop a like on this video and share it with anyone you know is a fan of a team in the NFC East. If you're repping your team through the good, bad, and the ugly, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified whenever I drop a video here on the Angry NFC East YouTube channel. But I appreciate those who love the game of football and are willing to rep their team with class. That's what it's all about. And I hope we can do that here on this YouTube channel. But this has been your man, the Angry Cowboys Fan, and this is the Angry NFC East.
You're rocking with the Angry NFC East, where we talk about the 4 teams that make up the NFC Beast, where you represent the